IFA started as a result of my own personal experience as a survivor of a very terrible road traffic accident. It happened on the 7th of January 2002, around 8 p.m. Sustained spinal cord injury and been on the wheelchair from then till date. Becoming a person with disability for the first time was strange to me because prior to when it happened, I had never encountered anyone with a disability. I've never stumbled on any forum or any meeting for people with disabilities, so I had no idea completely. And then I became a person with a disability and didn't even know what to do, how to navigate my life. I couldn't understand why I always have to be carried on to every platform or every staircase or corridor. I started speaking to the attitudes of people towards persons with disability. For me, advocacy began from that period until 2010, when there was an opportunity for a woman with disability to be selected as a spokesperson for then 22 million Nigerians with disabilities. That was 2010. And it was going to be the Miss Wheelchair pageant. That was the journey for me when I knew that it was time for me to speak up on a national platform. And I went in for that pageant, became the first ever Miss Wheelchair Nigerian Queen. And advocacy began from that period till 2012 when the reign ended. And at the end of the reign, I knew that I had not even scratched the surface of advocacy because we were still pushing for the signing into law, the disability bill as at then. So together with friends, and I birthed the Inclusive Friends Association.
The Inclusive Friends Association, IFA, was born. A beacon of hope and empowerment for persons with disabilities.
So Inclusive Friends is a deliberate name to remind people every one of us need to think inclusion. Every one of us need to live inclusion. It's not something that should be taught. It's something that you should know it, to be inclusive of anyone and everyone in everything that you do.
Over the past decade, we've built a foundation of expertise and credibility within the disability community in Nigeria. Our initiatives span humanitarian aid, economic empowerment, peace, gender, democracy, and inclusive education.
I met IFA, I would say, about 10 years.
It began with strengthening access for rural special schools, STARS, improving hygiene and education for children with disabilities. Music for Toilets concert was held to mark the World Toilet Day for funding accessible facilities.
I realized that, for me to be able to get the attention of key stakeholders who were funding water sanitation and hygiene project and implementation was to come up with a concert, a music concert. Of course, I'm a recording artist, so music is just a way of getting the message across.
She was trying to provide water and also sanitation facilities in terms of toilet for the students of the School for the Blind in Gindri.
It's a benefit concert first to draw attention and awareness around the need for children with disabilities, for persons with disabilities, to have accessible water sanitation and hygiene facilities.
We were given opportunity to sing, to also showcase our talent in terms of music aspect. And it was also a campaign to also let people know out there that we need good toilets.
They had a well, so you can imagine somebody who is visually impaired then fetching water in the well, but they had done this for years.
Because of this organization, we're also able to get water in the hostel, outside the hostel, and even inside our bathroom, inside the toilet.
So our target is to bring some form of awareness to, first and foremost, the schools for serving children with disabilities, and the fact that they lacked water and they lacked accessible toilets.
IFA also combated gender-based violence with empowerment models by amplifying the voices of persons with disabilities in Nigeria.
My story with Inclusive Friends started around 2021 And I must tell you that that was a critical point in my life, because at the point I was still struggling with acceptance. I've always been a very reclusive person. But around 2021, I started accepting who I am and my condition. And then that was the point I put in for IFA's Amplifying Voices project.
The Amplifying Voices project was aimed at strengthening the voice and agency of young persons with disabilities.
To speak up and advocate for elimination of every form of gender and disability-based violence.
So that project really helped me to find a voice within the disability community, and also to help to project the voices of marginalized groups in society, particularly persons with disabilities.
It was our own way of, first of all, strengthening young persons with disabilities as advocates to speak up wherever and whenever they find themselves with any key stakeholder.
We've been able to not only create a network of advocates in the different states where we have worked, we have also set up task force committee.
So if you look at the platform of the interagency, we have people from the Human Rights Commission, we have FIDA, we have lawyers, we have medical doctors, we have police, we have civil society organization, we had the Ministry of Women Affairs, and it's a platform where issues of gender-based violence can be reported easily.
I came on board as a facilitator, but it will interest you to know that I learned so much about disability that the training left me transformed.
So far we have trained over 100 young persons with disabilities across the 6 geopolitical zones, and they are doing amazing work because they are interfacing with this interagency task force. They are speaking up on any platform on why there is need to protect the rights of persons with disabilities. A couple of cases have even gained justice that we can, pride with the fact that these issues are not just reported, but justice is served.
I've known Inclusive Friends Association as an organization of persons with disability and led by a woman with disability.
We're drawn to IFA because of what they represent, helping to promote inclusivity.
Yeah, I have supported the organization, particularly looking at how can they have quality research and knowledge products.
We do recognize that persons with disability are usually excluded from most spheres of life across different sectors: health, education, communication, transportation, even accessibility to buildings.
So I think in a nutshell, that research, the recommendation in which from those research has really influenced and kind of stirred the conversation on a more inclusive social protection system in Nigeria.
And I also want to mention specific results that we are celebrating. We're working with the partners in Abia State. They've been able to get the government to establish a disability commission in Abia State.
The outcome of situational analysis was used by the team at IFA to be able to push more of inclusion of people with disability in social protection program. I think after that research output, the then minister was able to allocate 10% of the Empower and other social protection programs for persons with disability.
So I think the work with IFA has helped to fill in some data requirements.
This is fundamental, and I think this has really made IFA outstanding in terms of the work they are doing.
In 2015, we transformed Nigeria's election with Access Nigeria, Disability Vote Matter, enhancing PWD's participation.
The Access Nigeria campaign is a program, that seeks to advocate for more accessible and inclusive electoral processes for persons with disability. IFA has led under this program the conduct of Nigeria's first 4 polling unit accessibility audit for persons with disabilities.
We realized that evidence-based advocacy is very important. So we conducted an evidence-based survey, a research on accessible polling unit, accessible voting materials, accessible voting processes and procedures for the community of persons with disabilities. And the first time we piloted this research, accessibility audit, was during the off-cycle election in Edo and in Ondo in 2016.
The third was in 2019, the off-cycle governorship election in Kogi State. And then the fourth was in 2021, the off-cycle governorship election in Anambra State.
Both in Edo and in Ondo in 2016, we trained close to 500 persons with disabilities, ensuring an equality between men and women. So first was to empower a person with disability to be able to gather data. And secondly was to use that data to advocate. And that was what we did.
So through this audit, IFA consistently collected statistically valid data, representative data, to show the challenges that persons with disabilities faced, during elections.
We took this evidence-based data, presented it to INEC, presented it to the National Assembly. There is need for more work if you want the community of persons with disabilities who are close to 33 million or about 33 million to come out and vote, those who are eligible to vote, then you need to address these barriers.
And this formed the basis of evidence-based advocacy that they conducted to the Independent National Electoral Commission, security agencies, and other stakeholders to ensure that persons with disabilities in Nigeria, had a better voting experience.
So we designed the first ever Braille ballot guide for the blind to use and vote themselves, those who could read and understand Braille to do it themselves. We came up with the poster from EC30E, which was a PWD poster for the deaf. This poster is designed with symbols so that when a deaf person comes to the the polling unit, they are able to understand the process from just looking at this poster. And it didn't just serve the deaf community, it served everybody, both the uneducated and even the educated who probably may not even get the attention of the EOs. We're looking at that posters and we're knowing what to do. We advocated for sign language interpreters during the collation and the announcing of the results so that people can sit at the comfort of their home, people with disabilities, and follow the process. We also came up with the CVR process to ensure that there is a disaggregated data of people with disabilities who were registered voters. The need for disaggregated data is to enable INEC prepare adequately to provide these materials for the community of people with disabilities.
And we worked with Inclusive Friends to provide Braille jacket. It's a jacket that has the acronyms of political parties in Braille, in which the person who needs it inserts the ballot paper into the Braille, and such a person can vote unassisted. But for those who don't read Braille, they can still bring trusted relations on election day to assist them to vote like they have always done. But for those who can read Braille, that option is available.
So I think it's a great thing for an organization to conduct advocacy, work with the commission in designing a tool like the Braille ballot guide, and then work with the electoral body to ensure continuous deployment of this tool for the benefit of, in the case of the Braille ballot guide, voters with visual impairments, to help them participate independently in the electoral process.
IFA has also co-initiated policy-driven advocacies, such as the Citizens' Direct Action to demand the presidential assent of the Electoral Act 2022 and the Discrimination Against Persons with Disabilities Prohibition Act 2018. IFA aims to be a global hub for PWD solutions, extending our influence beyond Nigeria.
In these 10 years, you could see that IFA continues to work, and IFA is ready to work. The only way we can continue to push further and make the remarkable impact that we've made in these 10 years is when we continue with this partnership and continue to open up opportunities for more partnership.
But we want to also quickly say that the partners of IFA should not be tired, that it's a good job they are doing.
A candle loses nothing by lighting another candle.
We look forward to the future where IFA is doing much more than what they're doing now.
And so for every partner working with IFA and IFA itself, it's more of a collaboration. The collective impact we want to achieve within the disability space would not come if we don't collaborate. So to all other partners, collaboration, 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 but healthy collaboration.
We welcome partnerships in finance, expertise, networks, in-kind donations, and advocacy. Join us in making a global impact.
IFA is celebrating 10. It's a decade of change. Keep it up.
Shout out to IFA at 10. Congratulations, and I look forward to the next 10 years. See you on top.
Keep breaking the barriers. Happy 10th anniversary, IFA and the Access Nigeria campaign.
To have weathered the storm in the last decade is worthy of celebration.
As we look back over the past 10 years, we see not only the progress made, but also the path that lies ahead. A path paved with hope, inclusivity, and a brighter future for persons with disabilities in Nigeria and beyond.